Hi everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're gonna react to Aẓmongold as he reacts to the future of Diablo 4 is decided soon. We're looking for the most content we can to understand whether or not we should actually purchase it, play it, and what has happened in the last patch. I don't know. Let's jump right into it and see what we have in store.
One of the big conversations right now is about seasons, and I want to break down why that conversation is happening, some of my own thoughts, and what I'm also looking forward to in the seasons. I want to start by sharing an experience in order to explain this concept, which is I got one of the best experiences in the game so far, which was getting a piece of gear that felt pretty good. I got this piece.
Let's see, that's a fortified damage reduction, 10.7. Damn, that's quadruple damage reduction. I wonder if that's better than having like 3 damage reduction in life too. Yeah, I wonder if that is better. I don't know. It is? Yeah, maybe.
Of gear,
I'm not sure.
And I got 4 damage reduction rows that are usable on them, meaning this piece of gear right here felt amazing to get. I felt like I had gained some progression of my character, and it felt like a peak moment for me. That is because at the end game of this game, and I'm not necessarily at end game on this necromancer yet, I am in world tier 4. I am pushing through nightmare dungeons, but I'm only level 79 admittedly. But in the end game, it really boils down to nightmare dungeons, trying to defeat Uber.
Dude right here is crazy. I think he opened it up as Diablo 4 came out, or a bit soon, like before that, and he has so much subscribers. It's crazy. He puts up really good content, really on point. Kudos.
Lilith, and then min-maxing your gear, which is what these pants fall under. It is one of those 3, and that is currently...
And they all feed into each other, too.
...of the in-game experience. And so because of that, I must ask myself if moments like these ones are going to keep me into the game for multiple years. Again, I try to look at this from both perspectives. I've been fairly...
I think that it's fun to do for a few times, but, like, after you already do this shit a couple of times, like... You need to have new items and like new stats and stuff.
Positive about the game, but I have seen a lot of criticism when it comes to the end game. So this video is me trying to open myself up.
They need to keep on updating like all the stuff and keep on adding to the game, listening to the players. Hopefully they'll do that.
To that conversation and understand it from that perspective. And because of that, if I am trying to be blatantly aware, I don't think just getting new items and min-maxing each of these slots would keep me interested for years to come.
No.
And because of that, that brings us back to the season conversation of feeling like season 1 has a lot of pressures on the shoulder for Blizzard. I think where currently people are standing is they are really looking to see any notification from Blizzard in order to know where they plan to go with this game. I think this
and that's the thing, right? Is like a lot of the people that are Diablo fans that are talking about the game on YouTube, right? I mean, like, Diablo has like a massive silent majority of people that are just, you know, they heard about Diablo 4 because they saw a commercial for it, right? Or they saw the Megan Fox commercial, like, oh, maybe I'll try this game, right? Sure, there's a lot of those people. However, like, the people that are
from Diablo 1 right here
are like way more serious about the game, these are people that probably also played, they also played Path of Exile. Right, they played these other games, so like they know they played Diablo 3. So a lot of these people know like what they want to see and what they don't want to see.
It's very obvious if we actually look at the current patch notes. One of the feedbacks I've seen from
I don't give a fuck if season 1 is good or not. I don't even think season 1 is going to be that crazy. I'm going to be honest. I think what I care about is season 6. I care about season 10 because, like, I mean, PoE. Like, PoE has bad seasons. Okay, that's fine. I know that the developers of PoE are smart. And I trust them to make the right decisions. So if they have a season that like doesn't really appeal to me, I'm not that interested in it, that's okay. Because I just wait for the next one, it's not a big deal. But like with Diablo 4, I do think that obviously there's a lot of pressure for this, definitely. What I want to see from the first season is I want to see like more end game content. Like a couple more end game systems.
Even though these are mostly changes that we, the community, directly asked them for, teleporting to dungeons, experience in dungeons, even the balance changes that got somewhat of flack, we literally asked for generation for things like Fury, Spirit Essence, etc. We more or less wrote a good amount of these patches. Even these sort of buffs, for instance, do have negative connotation in them, which are fair enough points, because people will say that, oh, 1 to 5% buff, who cares? That doesn't fundamentally change the game.
Probably
which
not.
They're correct. It does not fundamentally change the game. It is minor buffs. But what it does is show that the focus from the audience isn't necessarily on these minor changes, but that people are really looking forward to new content, which is where the major point of this conversation comes in.
Well, it's also the vision of what the game is and where the game is going to go. The vision is what people are really waiting to see. Is this game going to become interesting? Is it going to just be the same bullshit that we've seen before? Are they just going to do Diablo 4 seasons the same way as they did Diablo 3 seasons? I think it makes sense, because like with PoE, there's a new system every season. There's new bosses almost every season, and it changes the meta up a lot.
What it really boils down to is at some point, the majority of players, either casual or in-game, are going to hit a point where they feel like they need something else to do in the game.
Yeah.
That is happening fairly rapidly for in-game players, and casual players, the average player, are slowly starting to get there. So what I currently believe is that Season 1 is going to be two things. First of all, it's going to be a much-needed injection of content, things to do.
Hopefully.
But it is also going to be an indicator, a sort of green or red light for most of the audience as to whether or not they're going to keep their interest into this game for years to come. If Season 1 comes and the seasonal mechanic, the seasonal quest, the seasonal challenges are very interesting and give you a lot of things to continue to grind for, to have a lot more in-game content than maybe is currently in the game, then I think that's going to keep people's interest a lot longer than we would originally think. However, if Season 1 comes and the seasonal mechanic is minor, the world...
2 treasure goblins. So, like, think about like this, right? Okay, so, like, imagine, like, if a treasure goblin spawns... Okay, get this. So, like, you have a treasure goblin spawn, but then, look, then there's 2 of them. Wouldn't that be crazy?
What the fuck?
Tier 5 doesn't come. Let's say that's Season 3 for the Data Mine that we solved the world Tier 5, etc. There's not really any new bosses, or let's say they don't bring the campaign bosses back where we can do them, and it's sort of more the same thing reskinned. I think we're going to see some people getting bored sooner rather than later. And while I myself play for just more the fun of it than anything, and obviously creating content, I don't have every character maxed out on 100, I do actually try to see things from the perspective of the people who are not like me and have been grinding a lot harder and a lot farther, and they've already cleared Nightmare 100 and Uber Lilith and all these things. And I could see from their perspective that if you're at that point and you have lots of characters maxed already, you're probably already ready for the new content at this point. And Season 1...
I'm not that worried about that. What I'm mainly concerned about is the gear grind from like 70 onward is like really boring. So like, how long does Blizzard expect people to stick along with the game? Just to like min-max their gear a little bit better to do the exact same the exact same stuff that they already did.
But even that, like then, when we are maxed, we gotta have some new content. We gotta have some new interest. We gotta have some new storylines, and with the patches and with the seasons, and change the view a bit. You got that power, so just do it. Be creative, Blizzard, again.
I think that what makes PoE's ARPG progression so satisfying is that they have a number of bosses in the game that act as benchmarks and challenges in the game that act as benchmarks. Like you have Shaper Guardians, Elder Guardians, Shaper, Elder, Cirrus, Conquerors, like everything. You guys know what it is, right? You've played PoE before. There are all these different bosses, so like you go and you fight these different bosses and you build up to being able to beat like Uber Searing Exarch. Like let's assume like that's probably the hardest boss in the game, maybe. Like I don't really know, but probably like something like that. So let's say Uber Searing Exarch is the hardest boss in the game. And you compare that with Uber Lilith. If all you had in PoE was Uber Searing Exarch and tier and maps, and there were no special bosses, there was nothing in between these two things, the game would suck. So it's about having things in the middle to where everybody can take steps towards that. Because that's what the issue is, I think, with Uber Lilith. Is that Uber Lilith is like this insanely, ridiculously fucking hard fight that comes out of nowhere. Like, it's completely out of nowhere. Like, what the hell is this? It's like 5 times harder than like anything else in the game. And not only that, but there's nothing that you even build up to in order to do that. Like, it's not like you do, like, you know, like level 80 Lilith and then level 90 Lilith and then level 100 Lilith. No, you just go straight from, like, the last hard boss was like Elias or something like that for like tier 4. And then you go to Uber Lilith. That's insane. There needs to be more challenges in that period that, like, you can work towards over time. I think that's what's really missing.
Really needs to deliver for those people. And while a lot of us are still making new characters and experiencing the game, every time that we do make a new character and experience the beginning of the game, we're experiencing it for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th time at this point. So I do think that going into the further in-game seasons, it's got some weight on its shoulder. I think Season 1 is going to be sort of a make-or-break-it point. I really hope they hit it out of the park, both because I want to see longevity in the game. Obviously, I would like to continue to create content on it for the years to come. But I also think that it's going to be important for the people that are the really, really hardcore audience in this game that have, talking to people that got 5 100s already or 3 100s, whatever.
What the fuck?
They've already cleared Uber Lilith.
Holy shit.
Nightmare Dungeon 100. The people that are hardcore loving the game, I think those people are probably ready for some content.
Those people, I actually don't think Blizzard should really do anything to, like, keep those people engaged, because it's impossible to make those people happy. They're playing the game 15 hours a day. They're like 0.01% of the population. Like, you should look at them as mining canaries, as like, if these people are unhappy with the system, are the average players going to be unhappy with it in like a month whenever they get to the same spot? And like, so I think that those players do have a value, but trying to keep up with how fast they consume content is impossible. Like, it's impossible to do. What they really need to do is they need to move, like, let's say the game has like, let's section the game off into like 5 different parts. I think sections 4 and 5 need the most work. Like 4 and especially 5, but like, again, that kind of goes towards like the, you know, like a minority player base. But like 4 and 5, there's just really not a lot to do that's interesting or transformative at the end game, other than just running the same dungeons over and over and over. And the dungeons don't change enough for them to be interesting. It's the exact same dungeon.
However, I do still firmly believe most people don't have a level 100 at this point. Most people are probably at the level 70, maybe 80 level or so. Most people don't have many alts, and there's still plenty of content left for people to absorb in this game. But I am seeing an increase in comments, both as well as YouTube, as well as the live stream, from people saying that they are now ready for new content, or they're hoping for new things to come into the game. And it's starting to feel like the tipping point is going a little bit from one way to the other. So Season 1 for me, and the point of this video, is I think Season 1 is going to be fairly important when it comes to actually delivering content. Now, if you're curious,
I do think Season 1 matters a lot for Diablo, especially from like a reputation and perception point of view. But personally, I don't really care if Season 1 is good or not, because if it's not, I'll just play something else until they make it better. I understand that Path of Exile took many years to get to where it's at now, and I'm willing to let Blizzard take time to improve the game. You know, like, I'm not paying a sub fee. I already bought the game, and I got my money's worth easily, many times over with this game, if you value it $1 per hour. So I'm just waiting for D4 sponsor. I actually don't have a D4 sponsor. It is a GameStop sponsor. Yes, keep that in mind. Nice try. Yeah. GameStop sponsored us to buy their to promote their bundle, not Diablo 4. Anyway, point that I'm making here is that I don't really think that it's going to have, like, I don't think that Season 1 is going to be, it's not going to, like, Season 1 is not going to take Diablo 4 and catch it up to PoE. It's not going to happen. Like, this is going to take probably like minimum 2 years, and realistically 3. The "it just came out" excuse doesn't make sense to me whenever it's applied to Blizzard.
Thank you, Asmongold. So we've got waiting to do. It's not refined yet. We need that extra push from 70 to 100, and we need more content, even though if this might be a good time to start, because maybe after the season to see like if they really do listen to the feedback of the players. I don't know. Let me know what are you playing, okay? Because I want to know. I want to check out new games. Thank you so much for being here with me in this video, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Till then, goodbye.